Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good morning. Today we are going to do a final class associated with the 6th chakra. And then there'll be 3 more classes, one on Bindu, 2 7th chakra, that close out this many months long chakra series. And that will coincide with moving to in-person live classes again. The concept that I'm focused on for today is Dhāraṇā, which is, if you study the Yoga Sutras, is designated as the 6th of the 8 limbs, or the 6th step on a path towards an enlightened state of being. And I feel that it's innately associated with the 6th chakra. There's so many different ways, so many different words that fit this. And I'm just going to throw some words out: concentration, focus, attention, awareness, single-pointedness. All of those words help to describe that state of conscious concentration that describes Dhāraṇā. And it also is the main thing that stimulates the pineal gland and the development of the 6th chakra. And as we continue to develop that sense, that ability, the ability to concentrate is enhanced. The more that we concentrate, the more single-pointed, focused, and aware we are moment to moment, present in the current moment, the current experience of our life, not focusing on the past, not focusing on the future. And if you want to really go out on a limb, I personally think that what you put your awareness on is what helps to create your future. All right, so having said all of that, let's tune in with the Adi Mantra. Namo Guru Deva Namo Namo Guru Deva Namo Namo Guru Deva Namo. All right, wonderful. Stay here. Line yourself up with what your concentration is for your life. What is your focal point? What is your Dhāraṇā? What is it that you are going to perpetually guide yourself back to as the compass for your life? It might be something light and easy, like the pursuit of happiness. It might be something heavier, like releasing old trauma. Think about what your purpose is right now. Great. Okay. So, almost as important as enlightenment are knees. So we're going to do a little bit of generalized warm-up and some specific warm-up for the knees. Since we do so much sitting, as we get to these higher chakras, let's make sure we're taking good care of our knees. So just cardiovascular limber up. You can do Kundalini marching if you like, or anything where you get your heart rate up. This is nice because you're alternating side to side. And you could even try to do opposite arms and opposite legs to get a little cross brain action going. If you're really fit, you could go fast. You could have a nice little jog. Always encourage yourself to get your knee as high as your navel. So that helps us to work the psoas muscle, engage the psoas muscle and part of this. Great. Snug yourself to a wall. Have your feet about 12 inches apart from each other, or find your hip bones and spread them hip bone distance apart. And have your heels about 6 inches away from the wall. And then get the entirety of your back, your spine, and your shoulders in contact with the wall. And we'll simply slide down. And then use the strength of pushing through your feet and your legs to come back up. You can get a little bonus action from this by having your arms in cactus arms against the wall. Notice that the low spine, the low belly may be collapsing forward. And just have a little awareness on there being the equal amount of muscle work in the front of the belly as there is in the low back. We'll do just a few more. Come down and hold. Press up. Down and hold. Press up. And one more down. And press up. Great. A little bit wider apart with your legs. We'll do some hip warming up. You can start with your hands on your hips and just circle. And circle the other way. Good. Opposite hand to outside the opposite ankle. Go ahead and rotate your torso as well if you can. All the way back up. Hand outside the shin or calf of the opposite leg and back up. Great, and then hands on your hips, legs still wide. Bend one knee like a runner stretch over to one side. If you want to put your hands down on your knees or even on the floor, you can do that. For the other side, back and forth. And again, we'll do a few rounds where we hold. So squat over to one side. push through center, squat to the other side. And one more to each side with a hold. And then back to center and go ahead and come up. For the health of the knees, it's good to have balanced muscle strength and limberness in all the different muscle groups. So we're going to look at a couple of stretches that are supposed to happen a lot of the times in yoga, but don't always. So one is stretching the quad in the front of the body. Because of the way the musculature is, a way to avoid stretching the muscles that are tight is that your leg will come out to the side. And you're going to want to try and control that. See if you can keep your knees together. Take one foot, knees together, and then your hip will dip back again to avoid contracting or stretching the muscles in question. So work with tucking your tailbone under as though you were doing a mul band. And if you want to really correct your alignment, you can use a wall or a doorway to hold the front of your hips right up in line with that. Hold on to the foot, use a strap if you need to, knees together. And try and keep the front of your hip all the way into the wall. And as you start to limber up, go ahead and keep tucking your tailbone under to focus the stretch in the thigh. And as you find yourself getting more and more limber, you can take your leg further back behind you. Great, let go of that. We'll do the other leg. And don't forget that tucking under of the pelvis to enhance the stretch. Good. Okay, so we're going to do a similar thing with the hamstrings. And it's easy to overstretch the low back when we're trying to do the hamstrings, so we're going to use this door jam again to help us with that. So I'm going to come down onto the ground, and the leg that I want to stretch is going to go up the wall. If you know that your hamstrings are tight, you're going to maybe have your torso a little bit away from the wall. Otherwise, get as close in as you can. Flex your foot. That engages the muscles in the front of the leg, which then sends an automatic relaxation signal to the back of the leg. You can do the opposite movement in this stretch than we did on the quads. If you make a bigger arch in your low back, that will help you to get deeper into the hamstrings and protecting the low back. Do your best to get your knees straight. Great, good. And then go ahead and switch your body around in your door jam and do the other side. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is working with the hips, and we're going to be lying on our side on the ground. So you can bend your arm that's closest to the ground and use it as a pillow, or if you've got a pillow handy, you can use your pillow as a pillow. If it helps you for stabilizing, the lower leg can be bent to help you balance. Upper arm can also help you with balance. And your foot, the upper foot, the leg that we're working with is going to be flexed. And you want to feel like you're rolling the toes towards the floor rather than letting the hip open out that way. So that's going to be the starting position. And we're going to take the leg straight up. The range of motion is not going to be very big because your leg is internally rotated. We'll hold for several seconds. Come back down. Up. Hold for several seconds. And back down. Again. Down. A few more. This is one of the practices that's good for balancing the musculature that can cause issues with sciatica, if your sciatica has any muscular component to it. Great, okay, good. And just switcheroo, so we're going to do the other side. Flex that foot. Make sure that you've got a sense of internal rotation, and then up as high as you can. Hold and down. Up as high as you can. Down. Now, one last time, up and hold, and back down. All right, good. Sorry to be a yo-yo. We're going to do two more that are standing. So again, back to coordinating movement between the hips and the knees. We'll do some squats. The goal here is to keep your spine as upright as possible. That's the number one goal. And then two is how far down you can go. You can have your hands on your thighs or in your hips, toes pointing out, 45-degree angle, knees pointing out, 45-degree angle. And then let's just see how far down a drop will go. Come back up. Like your spine is a string with the weight at the bottom, straight down, straight up. If you like, you can put your hands on the outsides of your thighs to help remind you to open your knees out, lining up over your ankles. You want to come up on your toes at the end. When you're all the way up, you can try that. Notice how visual concentration helps with that. So everyone's probably very familiar with the term drishti, which is a focal point. And the first part of that word, the dri part, is the same part that starts Dhāraṇā. So that sense of focal point. Good, let's heel toe the feet a little bit closer together. And as you do so, the angle of the feet and knees are going to shrink and be more facing forward, always in harmony with each other. And we'll do a few more squats. use whatever arm position makes it the most pleasant for you. Arms out maybe, fingers behind the back of the head to help with your torso alignment, and then just come down and up. And then the next time you're up, again, find, you may want a wall to help with balance. We're going to do one leg at a time. So one foot on the floor, lift yourself up onto your toes, lower back down, up and down, as high as you can, up onto your toes. If you have a good focal point, see how well you can do away from the wall. And then we'll do the other foot. You can try some where you really get the full range of motion using the wall, and then do some where you use drishti, focal point, to try and balance away from the wall. All right, excellent. We'll come down to sitting for the next bit. So this is going to look a little bit like doing a twist, both legs out straight in front of you. If you feel like you're tipping backwards, prop yourself up with a little something underneath your sits bones. Cross one leg over the other. And as opposed to using normally we would use the arms to twist our torso, this time we'll use our arms to get into the outside of our leg and our hip. So rather than twisting the torso, we're using the arms to draw the leg across the body. And just like with a deep twist, if it works for you to get your stomach around the outside of your leg and your arm around the outside of your leg, you can use that leverage to get deeper into the hip. You can walk your foot further and further across your body. And you can also hug your knee and draw it into your armpit. That might be the most effective one of all. Great. Uncross your foot, slide that leg out, cross it over the other way, and use any of those techniques that you found worked for you. So walking the foot further across the body, drawing the knee across the torso, using the arms outside the leg, or hugging that knee into the armpit. Great. And then just let that foot slide out to just above your knee. You can use your hands behind you on the floor to give you support. Bend the knee that's outstretched and scooch that foot in as close as you can to your body. Let the knee open out to the side, and then using the strength of your arms and lifting your chest, enhance the stretch by bringing, like you're folding your torso and your legs towards each other. Good. Ease off of that enough to where you can get some movement in the bent knee. Having the outstretched leg be a little more bent can help with taking some of the pressure out of the knee and the ankle. You can also do this with your back against the wall if you feel like you're going to tip, because what we're really working on here is the hip and the integrity between the alignment of the hip and the knees and the ankle. So the ankles and the hip are both extremely mobile, and the knee is one line of motion. So as there is restriction and limitations in the hip flexibility and the ankle flexibility, that starts to compromise the knee. So we want to keep the hip as flexy and mobile as we can. If you start to feel really good with that, you can take the other leg all the way out straight. Good. Pull that knee into your chest. You can even kind of contract your leg so that your heel feels like it pulls towards your bottom. Slide it out. And we'll do the same figure 4 stretch with the other leg. So cross the ankle just above the knee so you're not pressing directly on the joint. Bend the outstretched leg. Bring it in as close as you can comfortably. Then use the arms on the floor to help you get your torso and legs as close towards each other as you can. Perfect. And then easing off of that to the extent that you still feel balanced, or push yourself into the wall. And we're going to start to get a little flexibility into this hip. And if there is absolutely no discomfort in the knee, in the ankle, go ahead and take the leg the outstretched leg more and more straight. Great. Uncross that foot. Feel like you're drawing that heel into your body, and then slide it out straight. And if you'd like to bounce your knees a little bit, go ahead and do so. Let's do one final leg and hip knee practice. That would be on the back. Exercise. Happy baby. So bent knees come towards the armpits. If your hands reach your ankles, hold there. If they reach your thighs, hold there. If they reach the outsides of your feet, hold there. Let's do a kind of pumping motion where we use the hands wherever they're holding to pull one knee deeper into the armpit, and then release and do the other. And then let's pull both knees deeper towards the armpits. Keep one leg still and open the other leg out to the side. Use the leg that is not working right now. Wherever you're holding, really pull that knee deeper into the armpit to keep you from rocking to the side. And you can even play with the angle of the hips to feel the stretch of different muscles. Great. Release that foot out of the stretch so that you're just back into happy baby. And then the other leg goes out to the side. Good, both knees back in, heel to the floor, and we're going to do, we'll do a few more exercises to warm up, to get the Kundalini moving, and we're going to really start to use the drishti, the sense of focus in each one of the poses that we go through next. So stretch pose. With stretch pose, we're gonna gaze at our big toes. So stabilize your low back if you need to. Take the legs out, and you can have your head on the floor. If you do that, you might wanna put one hand behind your head. And if you have the strength, go ahead and take your shoulders and chest up off the floor. Gaze at the toes. Keep your focus on the toes, and breath of fire. Keep going. Lock your focus in on those big toes, on your big toenails. Deep inhale, mul-band. Good. Release down. And bend one knee. Put that foot on the floor. Use the power of pushing into that foot to roll yourself onto your stomach. And we're going to do cobra, focusing on using a drishti for cobra. So, as you guys are probably also familiar with this, the further your hands are towards your head, the less that your back is going to arch. The further your hands are down towards your ribs, the more you're going to be able to get an arch. So find where you feel comfortable today. The typical focal point for this pose is Svadhisthana, down in the tailbone, but today we're going to use the third eye spot and the eye mudra, Shambhavi mudra, as we come into the pose. So the first thing that I'll have you do is take your tongue into the roof of your mouth and gaze upwards, like you could look at your own brow center, your own third eye. Eyes can be open or closed, whatever allows you to have the stronger focus. And then as though you are lifting the brow point up, start to peel yourself away from the floor as though you're trying to get your brow point as high towards the ceiling as you can, and then breath of fire. Great, inhale, work with mul-band, and roll down. We'll use this nice transition to continue focusing at the brow point as we push back into child's pose, also known in Kundalini as Guru Pranam, with your forehead, your brow point touching the floor. If your brow point doesn't easily come to the floor, use your hands. Stack your hands so your forehead can rest there. You can use a block. If it feels comfortable, you can have your arms stretched out alongside your head. This seems like a completely passive pose, but use it as a strong Dhāraṇā building practice. Keep taking your focus back to your brow point over and over and over. I think because of our makeup, we often focus on being discouraged, that we don't come back to our brow point more and more, and that's completely missing the point. We expect that we should be able to hold our concentration automatically, and the process of bringing the attention back, that is the practice. So keep bringing your attention back to where the forehead is touching the floor. If you can have your eyes in Shambhavi Mudra, like you're trying to gaze towards that contact point, that's even better. Let's go ahead and interlace our hands behind our back and raise your arms up in the extent that you can. Release them back down. Do that a few times, getting a nice additional circulation through the shoulders, neck, and head. Great, release the arms down. Go ahead and slide yourself out on your stomach. Almost done with the physical exercises. So again, let's, this time, if it's comfortable on your throat, rest on your chin. If not, rest at the brow point. Bend the knees. Knees can be wide, but you want your big toes touching. You can even hold on to your big toes, one to the other. Holding on to the ankles. Take your tongue into Kachari Mudra. Take your your focus of your eyes towards your brow. And then, as though you are trying to raise your brow towards the ceiling using the strength of your legs, pull your legs up and straight. Keep working with your legs. Keep thinking about your legs doing the work as it lifts your brow further and further up. Keep that focus at the brow. Breath of fire if you like. Great, deep inhale, and the legs work even more. Lift, 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 and then relax down. And again, if you'd like to push back into child's pose or Guru Pranam, do so. Continue resting in Guru Pranam or roll over to your back, and we'll have just a few minutes of gong integrating meditation. To the extent that you can, as you hear the gong playing, as you hear the music playing, feel as though it's coming from the center of your own head. if that feels too elusive, feel as though it is coming from your brow point, bhumaja, the spot between your eyebrows. Part of your rest, have part of the deep relaxation be a calming of the jumpiness of the mind. Every time that your mind is full of agitation and wants to shift to something else, use your breath, use the focus at the brow point as a way to encourage softening, easing, relaxation. You're like walking a very energetic dog. It runs around and around in circles, but the leash keeps drawing it back to a focal point. Have your thoughts be like that dog and keep shortening and shortening your leash until the energy, the excitation is able to be used by the brow point. Draw that energy to the focus, to the focus, to the focus. Attention, attention, attention. If you're on your back, do the transition moves that feel most comfortable to you. Wiggle through your fingers, wiggle through your toes, stretch through your hands, stretch through your feet, stretch the palms, stretch the soles. Work the wrists and ankles. Roll through your elbows, stretch out through the entirety of your body, fingertips to toes, lengthening through the spine, decompressing your spine, perhaps even interlacing the fingers and flipping the palms facing away from you, and get that stretch all the way through the front of the body. Great. Rub the palms of the hands together, soles of the feet. And then do a little rotating side to side if you like, eventually rolling over to one side and bringing yourself all the way up for some pranayama. All right, so we'll start with single nostril breath of fire. We'll start with the left nostril, block off the right however you like, and start breath of fire. Deep inhale. Keep the breath in, contract Mul Bandha. Drop your hand, contract Jalandhara Bandha. Keep the breath in. Even though Mul Bandha is being held the whole time, see if you can amplify Soften, amplify, soften, amplify, soften. Good. When you need to breathe, relax everything. If you, based on what we just did, if you need to adjust how you're sitting so that it's a little easier to move into the neck lock at the end, do so. Now we'll block off the left nostril and breathe through the right. Inhale. Keep the breath and the energy in. Engage Mulband. Engage neck lock. And never completely release Mulband, but see if you can amplify it. Release it, amplify it, soften, amplify, soften. And then release. For several of the next practices, we're going to be working with the tip of the nose. We'll use it as a drishti, as a focal point. It also has a direct relationship to Muladhara. So if you were able to sit in Siddhasana, where you're putting pressure on Muladhara, go ahead and do that. The length of the nose mirrors the passageway from Muladhara to Ajna chakra, to the brow point. We'll do some hands-free alternate nostril breathing, and we'll do 4 rounds, and then we're going to breathe in, feeling as though we can trace the breath and the energy from the tip of the nose up to Brahmaja, up to the brow point. If you would like to feel that with your hand for the first few times that we do it, you can feel free to do that. And I'm going to talk us through this. So there's several things that ideally will start to be second nature for you at this point. Letting the index finger and thumb tip touch while the hands remain very relaxed. That helps the movement of the subtle energies in the body. Hopefully that's starting to become second nature. Moving to an ujjayi breath where you can lightly amplify the sound and also stretch out the inhales and exhales. The tongue seeking out the roof of the mouth and gliding back as far as it can go. Now using your attention, your concentration, your focused awareness, feel breath and energy move from your left nostril as you inhale up to your brow point. See if you can cultivate a visualization at the brow point, at Brahmaja. When you exhale, feel the breath and the energy move from Brahmaja out the right nostril. Breathe in the right nostril, drawing energy and breath up to the brow. See if a visualization, a representation of that presents itself to you, a representation of Ajna chakra. Exhale out the left side. Mentally count to yourself 1. If you can see in your mind's eye the number 1, even better. The next time you breathe in, left nostril, draw the energy up to the brow. See if a visualization can hold your attention there. Exhale out the right. Inhale, right nostril up to the brow. You might see a dot of light, you might see a triangle of light, you might see an image, you might see an Om sign, you might see an eyeball. Exhale out the left. In your mind's eye, see the number 2. Inhale left, up to the brow. Your representation might even be in the form of a sound as you concentrate at the brow. Exhale right. Inhale right. Concentrate at the brow. Concentrate at the brow. Exhale left. Mentally count or see 3. Inhale left to the brow. Perhaps seeing an eyeball as you hold the breath there, hold the energy there. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold the focus at the brow, hold the focus. Exhale left. Mentally count 4. And now we're going to trace from the tip of the nose up to Bhumaja as we count 5. If you want to trace with your finger, A-OK. Inhale up. See what visualization presents itself. Eyes up in Shambhavi Mudra, tongue pressing up. When you're ready to exhale, glide back down the nose, realizing that that is mirroring the movement of energy up and down the spinal column. Great. In your mind, count 5. We'll do another complete round like that. So, inhaling left. Lock into your visualization. If chanting in your mind Om is a better method for you, do that. Exhale right. I'm going to let you continue on your own, inhaling right. Like you are a weightlifter of concentration. Feel like you're exerting yourself to keep the focus locked in at the brow on the energy moving up and down. On whatever visual or auditory representation might come up for the brow point as you focus there. On counting after you've completed a round. When you're holding your breath, go ahead and lock into Shambhavi Mudra. And when you're ready to do the 10th round, remember to go ahead and trace that pattern, that movement from the tip of the nose to the brow point, simultaneously from Mulabandh to Ajna Chakra. Draw the energy up, lock the tongue, lock the eyes. Perhaps hear the sound Om or the sound of the gong from inside your head or from the brow point. And when you need to exhale, release. Actually, we're going to do one more round just like that. Inhaling left. Eyes engage in Shambhavi Mudra. Be open to whatever representations come to you from the 6th sense. Exhale out the right. Inhale right. Allow yourself to be open to what the sensory input is from working with the brow point. Exhale. Until we count 11, continue on your own. And on the 15th cycle of breath, from the nose tip to the brow, from Muladhara up to Ajna chakra, draw the energy up. Engage Mulbandh. Compress the base of the body to redirect the energy to the mind, to the pineal gland, to higher levels of awareness, to the sixth sense. And when you're ready to relax the breath, relax the breath. If you need to pause for a second to shift the way you're sitting or to give your knees a rest, do so. We'll do 2 more not terribly long meditations. The next one is, I think sometimes it's just called Waheguru meditation. The key to this one is maintaining the drishti at the tip of your nose. So you will have your eyes just a tiny bit open, gazing towards the tip of your nose. You always know you're doing this eye mudra correctly when you can see 2 little nose tips. If that feels not possible today, you could also do the practice with 1 index finger at the tip of your nose or just out from the tip of your nose so that you can hold your focus better. We're going to turn our head to the left, keeping the focus towards the tip of the nose as we mentally chant Wahe. We're going to turn our head to the right, keeping the focus, Guru, Wahe, Guru, Wahe, Guru, Wahe, Guru, Wahe, Guru, Wahe, Guru. The chanting can be out loud or mentally, whichever you prefer. Wahe, Guru, 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 Wahe, Guru. If you feel an inclination to move a little bit towards the feeling of Jalandhara Bandha with the upper back moving in, the chest lifting, the back of the head gliding back a little bit, really allow energy to move through the throat, through the final granthi, the final knot, psychological knot that's associated at the throat, the base of the skull. Remember, this is all about keeping the concentration, concentration, concentration. Keep your focus, keep your awareness. Each time it lapses, remember that that is a positive opportunity to build the strength of your practice. Keep coming back. Attention, attention, attention. With your spine nice and tall. The pivot point of this practice is right around the pineal gland, right around the physical location of Ajna chakra in the center of the skull, in the center back of the skull. You don't need to do anything with that information. But if it enhances your practice, let it enhance the practice. Keep going just a little bit longer. Keep that focus. My dissection instructor felt that the pineal gland could set up an electromagnetic field. And as we turn the head side to side, we move the pineal gland through a rotation that perhaps is allowing us to set up that electromagnetic field. The pineal gland has higher metal content than any other parts of the body, making it reasonable to feel that an electromagnetic field could be created from rotating it through space. Great, come to center. Work with Mul Band. Feel the energy, the unused energy, the wasted energy, the dormant energy of your existence. Draw it to the pelvic floor, compress it, squeeze it through the low belly, through the navel center, and draw that energy up the spine to your brow point, to the center of the head. Focus, 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 focus. Concentrate, Dhāraṇā. Great, release, good. Again, if you need to take a moment to adjust how you're sitting or to give your legs a break. The next phase of towards a state of enlightenment in the Yoga Sutras is dhyana, which is when you concentrate without realizing that you're concentrating. So when we're doing Dhāraṇā, we concentrate and we lose it. We concentrate, we're aware that we're concentrating, we lose it. We go back and forth, we cycle. When we get to dhyana, it just becomes still and steady. There's no longer an effort. So hopefully you'll experience a little bit of that as we've moved to the practice today, and perhaps for this final meditation. We did this, I think 2 weeks ago. It is called Meditation to See the Unseen. And we're going to combine, if you want, you can combine some additional practices from what we did today. So, a left arm is like you're taking an oath. The upper arm snug into your body. Palm facing forward, take the ring finger down, the sun finger, and hold it with your thumb. Right hand is like you are receiving something, like you're receiving a blessing maybe, or water. Hold your hand in a cupped manner. This is the basic form of the meditation. If you like, you can enhance it by taking the tongue into Kachari Mudra, as far up and back as it will go. Also, you can visualize the breath and the energy movement synchronized with the inhale and exhale. So as you inhale, you're going to start with a gaze towards the tip of your nose, and you're going to follow that line up with the nose to the brow point. and then straight back into the head. When you exhale, you go from the center of the head out to the brow point, and then down to the tip of the nose. And go ahead and let the eyes lock in, gazing towards the tip of the nose. Inhale up to the brow, and then deep into the skull. From the brow out, from the center of the head out to the brow, and down, tracing the line of the nose to the tip of the nose. Inhale along the nose to the brow, deep into the skull. Pinging the pineal gland, from the pineal gland out to the brow, and down the line of the nose, gazing towards the tip of the nose. Great, keep going like that. If using a mantra feels like it will enhance the practice for you, you can use a mantra. You can use the sound of your breath. You could use Waheguru, just like we were using earlier. Or you could use the sound of Om, once on the inhale, once on the exhale. We're simply using the mantra as an additional way to focus our mind. Use however you want to overlay the mantra with the practice that feels the most harmonious. Concentration, concentration. Harnessing our mind, harnessing that wild power of the mind, using it like you're taking the focus to laser beam intensity. Inhale and suspend the breath in. Engage Mulabandha. Move the head, neck, and shoulders towards the Jalandhara, tight position. Feel like you're compressing energy in the lower 3 chakras, moving it into the spinal passage and up into the head. To use in the mind, to use the 6th sense. Powerful exhale. Inhale deeply. Gather up all the energy. Gather the dormant energy. Gather the misused energy. Draw it in. Compress, compress, compress. Pull it into the spinal column. Use your eyes to direct it upwards. Powerful exhale. One more time. Exhale. Sit quietly. Find physical stillness, mental stillness. Focus on the gonging sound and feel as though it is emanated from either inside of your head or from the brow point. And feel as though you can follow it into infinity. Perfect. Very good. So, to the extent that you can, find time in your day to concentrate your mind, to develop your awareness, to develop your consciousness and where your consciousness resides. And that is like a pathway towards the future that you want to create. I've been doing this meditation since we did it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to keep doing it until I'm back. I'll do it my first in-person class back in Austin. So I invite you to join me in doing this daily, 6 minutes a day. And I'll see you next week. Let's do one deep inhale and chant Satnam. Let's bow to the focus, to the concentration, to the awareness, to the consciousness in each of us. Satnam.